All right, welcome back. So in this video, we're going to talk about print design and why is it important when you're doing print design in Photoshop. So print design is a subset of graphic design, is a formal visual communication used to convey information to an audience through intentional aesthetic design, printed and tangible surface designed to be printed on paper as opposed to presented on a digital platform. A design can be considered print design if its final form was created through an imprint made by the impact of a stamp, seal, die on the surface of the paper. Okay, so why is this important when we're learning print design in Photoshop? Well, the reason why it's important is because what it does is it gives you the foundation of what you're doing when it comes to print design. So you're understanding where it came from and why it's important. So that's why we're going to get into this a little more in depth and look at a couple examples so you really understand what we're doing. And I'll also talk about, just for a little bit, we'll talk about CMYK and kind of some of the softwares that you can use to do print design. Okay, so in this course, we're going to use Photoshop 2020, and you see Photoshop right there. But there are other programs you can use, such as Illustrator, InDesign, and there's other programs out there as well. So let me continue reading the history here. So there are several methods used to create print design artwork, spanning more than 500 years. Printing technologies available throughout history heavily influenced the style of designs created by graphic designers at the time of production, as different methods of creating print design offer varying features. Before the emergence of the design and printing technologies of the 20th and 21st century, such as inkjet printer, Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, InDesign, print design relied on mechanical technologies such as the letterpress and lithography. Okay, so the letterpress right here, perfected in the mid-15th century through the combined use of printing press and oil-based inks and cast metal type, remained the most common and efficient method of printing until the 1960s. So up until the 1960s, they were using the letterpress. Lithography, which I'm butchering the name and I apologize, introduced at the end of the 19th century, allowed for the use of color in prints and allowed artists to print on larger surfaces than letterpress. Additionally, lithography, we'll call it that, enabled artists to draw their own lettering on designs, which was not possible with letterpress. The design was drawn directly onto the stone by the artist and then transferred onto the surface of paper. So the uses. Print design remains prevalent in society through all forms of communication. Communicative design. The importance of printed visual design was highlighted during the First World War as posters helped to inform and instruct the audience. A short list of print designs uses today include posters, brochures, flyers, packaging labels, business cards, which is what we're going to be doing in one of the projects, book covers, book design and layout, magazine, banners, receipts, shopping bags. Okay, so that is print design. Now, why is print design important, and why do I need to understand this, and why should I care? Well, it's like I said, you got to understand what we're doing so that when we do it, you have a good foundation. Okay, so one more thing I want to talk about is I'm going to go up here and we're going to type in CMYK. Okay, so CMYK color model, process color for color, used in color printing. So CMYK is used in printing. Okay, so when we create graphics, you can do RGB and you can do CMYK, and we may do both. We'll see when we get there. But I want to talk about CMYK just so you understand what it is. So color printing typically uses ink of 4 colors: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. So when you're printing, if you are a graphic designer and you're designing print design, if you're designing for print media, then you're going to be working in CMYK. If you're using a digital printer, you can print in RGB. It's possible now. So when I worked for a print shop back in 2006, I'm dating myself here. I was a web designer, but I worked for a print shop, and I was doing the RGB content. So I was doing the digital media, but we had a graphic designer who was doing the print media. So they would print off stuff, and it would be in CMYK. And they would normally use Illustrator, but Photoshop you can use as well. Illustrator is really made for print because it's vector graphics, which means when you zoom in, it doesn't lose quality. And that's what print is all about. Because if you think about it, when you print something off, you don't want it to lose quality. You want it to keep the same clarity that it had from 100% to 200% zooming in. Okay? So that is the CMYK color model. Now, the CMYK model works by partially or essentially masking colors on a lighter, usually white background. The ink reduces the light that would otherwise be reflected. Such as a model is called subtractive because inks subtract the colors red, green, and blue from white light. White light minus red leaves cyan. White light minus green leaves magenta. And white light minus blue leaves yellow. So that's how they get the CMYK colors. They're subtracting red, green, and blue, RGB, and then they're adding cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Okay? In additive color models such as RGB, white is the additive combination of all primary colored lights, while black is the absence of light. In the CMYK model, it is the opposite. White is the natural color of the paper or other background, while black results from the full combination of colored inks. To save cost on ink and to produce deeper black tones, unsaturated and dark colors are produced by using black ink instead of the combination of cyan, magenta, and yellow. So again, that is the importance of print design and why you need to know what it is and why you need to know what CMYK is as well, because these are terminologies that you would be using if you were doing print design for someone. So with that in mind, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.